Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mrs. Simmons here. I am talking today about how to take all of the research you've done and the works cited that you've done and create a general organizer that will help lead you down the path of a solid outline, eventually a rough draft, and then a final draft. So here you can see my works cited page in MLA 8. I have it alphabetized, I have hanging indentions, I have everything here. You'll also see at the top of my screen I have opened up all of my articles that I am going to use in my research paper. So I have a PDF here with my comments and highlights, another PDF here, another PDF. I have a website that I've done some citations on, or annotations. I have another article here, a Mejia article, and then again my works cited. So on Google Classroom, you should find an assignment titled Graphic Organizer or General Organizer. That assignment will open up a doc that looks like this. You will want to open this up and start working on it. This is going to make your life a lot easier. So if you remember your freshman, sophomore, junior year when you did note cards, you would take all of those finished note cards and you would organize them into like ideas. So we're doing something very similar, it's just that because we didn't do note cards, we have to do it in a graphic organizer. So on this document, you definitely want to make sure that you put your name. Here I'll put Mrs. Simmons. So potential title of my paper, I think I might do the case for user-generated content, since that's what I have done for my model research paper. So just a quick thing about how this is set up. You'll notice I have body paragraph 1 topic, body paragraph 2. I don't have anything about an intro. Scroll down, I don't have anything about a conclusion. We're not worried about that right now. What we're worried about doing is organizing our ideas and other people's ideas into paragraphs that make sense. I also do want to note that on the second page I have a working thesis statement. We'll come to that in a little bit. So, as I've been annotating my resources, I should have been noticing categories, and hopefully some of those categories lined up to the essential questions that your magnet teacher has created for you to guide your research. So one of the key things that I've noticed as I went through my research was 5 general concepts. So the first one was the evolution of user-generated content. The second general thing I saw was drawbacks in the news. I saw benefits to the news. And then same thing, drawbacks and benefits, but this time in advertising. So I'm going to put that in. Oops, sorry. Oh yeah, I wanted drawbacks in advertising and benefits in advertising. Okay, so down here we're going to come up with some subtopics, like underneath the idea of evolution, what is it within my topic that I would talk about in that paragraph? So I'm going to go through this. This one here I want to do change to user-controlled. Here, now I see in my research I found out that it's now preferred for users than advertising. I like to see others doing that. Now if I don't need this other bullet, I can delete it. It's an easy fix. If I decide I need it, I just go to the end of that line, hit enter. So that was one thing I found. Then I have under drawbacks in news, sometimes it's considered unprofessional. There's the issue of payment that kind of ties to unprofessionalism. There's the ethics as well. There's a need for media literacy now because you have to be careful about what kind of information is actually going out there. There are benefits for the news. In my research I found that it helps with breaking news. There's this idea of free access to information and breaking news through users. And it also helps bolster freedom of speech. Now, drawbacks in advertising. Let's see, I saw modern consumers want it. I also saw it allows companies to improve it. Okay. For benefits in advertising, I found that it encourages engagement between consumer and company. Now, of course, I would probably have more. I could easily get rid of this if I don't need it, but I'm going to leave it here. Now, what you see here is a lot of information that is not actually tied to my resources. So what I think you guys should probably think about doing, and go ahead and do because it'll make your outline a lot easier, is start going through and saying, okay, where did I get this information? And starting to create general citations here, in text, but clearly not tied to a quote or anything like that. It's just, here's where I would look for this kind of information. So if I go to my Works Cited page and I want to do my in-text citations, the thing you need to understand about in-text citations is that it will always be the first thing that shows up on the entry. So the first thing that shows up in this is Alexander, her last name. Now this one's a little strange because I have more than 3, so it's Alexander et al., and that's what I would put in. But again, last name. I'm not skipping over to, oh, this came from an article title TripAdvisor. I'm not skipping over to Museum International. The person who reads your research paper should be able to find the source from your in-text citation immediately. So when I look in your paper, I should be able to find Alexander and then find it here immediately. I shouldn't have to hunt over here to try and find that. So this one, the citation would be Bartman. This one, it would be Dominic, and because it's a book, it would have a page number after it. Mejia would just be Mejia. It's a website title. There's no page number. This one is Scott. Now, this is a big PDF that does have page numbers. I would do Scott and then a page number. This one would be Tompkins. This one would be user-generated content. And note on this one, there's no name attached to this one, and that's okay. This is what goes in my in-text citation. I just put a quotation mark right after the word content. When I have long titles like this, I don't have to cite the whole title. I just cite the first 3 to 4 words, making sure that it doesn't match any other entry on my Works Cited page. And this is my only one without a name, so it's kind of perfect. So I then go back through all my resources and I start looking at all that work that I did when I was looking at my materials and highlighting and commenting on them. When I was doing all those annotations, it helps me find things. So I'm going to go through and I want to start tying my information to that. So here, when it came to started with media, I found that in 2 sources, so there's 2 sources I can reference for that. And that's just roughly before I start doing a full outline. So this came from the Mejia source. That's a website article, so I don't have to have a page number. And it says last name. Again, last name matches this right here. Okay, I'm going to close that just for my own reference so I know that's how I cite it. There's also the citation, though I found this in the Dominic book on page 17. So that's what it would look like if it was an author who had page numbers on their document. Now, this again just means that I have 2 sources that talk about how it started, and so I can use both or maybe just one when I start doing my outline and my rough draft. So same thing here, change to user controlled. So I found this same thing, Mejia and then Dominic 18. Here I found this in the user generated content resource. And that had a page number, so I need it. So please note that I have the quotation marks within and around the article title. Because it does have page numbers, I'm going to put the page number on it, okay? So here, I'll just flesh out some of these ideas. So let me just copy and paste from my little cheat sheet that I'm using, one I've already created. So here, I have Tompkins. I have Scott and the page number from his. I did separate these only with semicolons. I'll tell you, I don't really care which one you do. You can do semicolons or you can have 2 separate citations here. Mejia, I have Tompkins and Mejia again, Scott 9. For the breaking news, I'm going to copy this in so that you can see what I have. And I'm going to talk about this one in just a moment. And then here, I have Modern Consumers Wanted. Allows companies to improve it. There's the citation for that. And then for the encourages everything, engagement, all that, I'm going to put that right here. So, I have all of these citations. Now there's one that I want to point out. This here is not a solid paragraph. The reason for that is that the only source I have for it at the moment is Bartman. That's really poor research on my part. So I need to look at all my other resources and see if there's more information that would benefit me in my research and in this paragraph. So you never want to have a paragraph that has only one source in it. It's A, lazy researching, and B, shows that you aren't doing a good job of synthesizing and putting together your research and really reading through all of it. So this is not a good paragraph. I would want to work on this. I would want to try and find either other resources that are present that I could use, or do another Google search, or go to the databases and find another article that might help me be a little more specific in my research there. So this is what I'm wanting you to do with your general organizer. Should be pretty simple. I'm really just looking that you're trying to come up with the big ideas here, the topics of each paragraph, what you will probably talk about in each paragraph, and then start tying your research to it. This is going to make a huge difference down the road. If you do the organization here, specifically with your citations, your life is going to be so easy in a week or two. Now the last thing I need you guys to do, and this is something that we'll definitely do with the outline, but it's a good idea to do it here, is to come up with some sort of working thesis statement. So now that you have read all of the material, you have organized it, you now need to come up with what your paper is going to be about in a complete sentence. So I have kind of a little equation here for you. So with a thesis statement, it's a good idea to think of what's my topic, what does my research say about that topic, and what's my new conclusion based on my research. So I know that my research topic was user-generated content. Okay, so what did my research say about it? Well, it said that it can be a beneficial commodity to news organizations and companies, but it can hurt those that refuse to use it at all or intelligently. That's kind of throwing shade, but oh well. So here I have a working thesis statement. I want to note, this can change. That's okay. It is a working statement. This might change when I start actually writing the paper. Maybe I'll want to be more specific in some ways. So a working thesis statement that you can refine and hone until you're really satisfied with what you have. So this is instructions on how to use your Works Cited page, your resources, to start organizing them into what will probably be your body paragraphs in your research paper. If you have questions, you can always send me an email at rsimmons1@usd259.net. I look forward to seeing what you guys have Monday, and we will continue to work on this and start working into our outline. Thanks, guys.